All right, as I bump the mic, here we go. I'm recording again. This would be podcast number 39, I believe now. Today is Wednesday, the 13th of May, 2020. I know it's kind of weird. I've been recording a lot lately, where I didn't for a long time there, and I couldn't get myself to do it, and I didn't really want to. I didn't feel like I was ever going to want to record again. So, here's my first burp into the mic. You're welcome. Anyhow, so welcome to BCnDC, and I'm going to go ahead and stop this intro bullshit. We don't need the silly music like that. So, anyhow, I just kind of, like I said, or I didn't say, I gave a little brief video a second ago, so I was like, like I said a second ago, but I didn't say it yet. And that is that, I always recommend podcast 16, which is called Starting Over, and you can only listen to it. There's no video. So you're going to have to search that. Google search BCnDC or me, Chet Elliott, and you'll find the audio podcast there. But as far as everything else, pretty much most everything since 19 or so I videoed, and then I realized that there's some I haven't posted, and I thought about doing that. I'm going to go through some of those other ones, because there's one called podcast 19, it's Perspective is Everything, and I was like, yeah, that one, I enjoyed listening to it today, and I thought, I should definitely put that video on YouTube, so I'm going to do that sometime soon. Anyway, along with that, when I was listening to them, I just felt like I needed to visit them again for some reason. Like, I just wanted to hear what I was saying and what I was thinking then, and I truly still believe in that. A big part of life is making memories, and to make sure you make as many as you can, because I've realized that that's, it's not all I have left of Jack, but it's one of the major things I have left. Everything else is just physical stuff that it was his, the past couple of weeks have been kind of, the past few months have been really fucking rough. But the past 2 weeks I've been feeling it coming on again, and like I told the wife a while back, with depression, it's like it comes and goes in waves. And, I'm going through a wave. And, I've been crying a lot every day, and just hurting, just missing him, and, to be honest, hating my life, just not liking my existence, and, just having a hard time with it. So anyway, that's why I went back and visited those other podcasts, because that was a point in time, for a little bit of time, where I was feeling pretty mentally well, and life was pretty damn fucking good. Maybe the best it's ever been for me, and the best it maybe ever will be. And so I just kind of wanted to go back and just, relive it for a second. So on podcast 16, I was talking about how I was going to go racing that weekend, if the rain held up, and that if it didn't, I was okay with it, because we would do something else. So, here's the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. Obviously, I packed up a ton of shit the day before, and we packed clothes and the suitcases and the different foods for the different kids, even though it was only for, was it just one night? I guess it was just one night, yeah. Right? Dude, I can't even fucking think. I think so. It makes sense. Anywho, doesn't really matter, but I think it was just one night, yeah. Anyway, so we pack all the food for the kids, and obviously we head out. So it's probably about a 2.5 hour drive from where we're at to this certain track. And we get there, and it's sprinkling the whole way, you know, and it's like, the wife's like, are you bummed? And I'm like, well, you know, it is what it is. Hopefully they'll let us ride. If not, then we'll figure it out. We'll go, because I don't think we could go to the house, the Airbnb, until a certain time. And so we had to wait. And so I was like, well, we can just go find something to do. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll, you know, go to Portland or something. Who knows? So, you know, we get up there, and of course it's drizzling. We get to the track, and, you know, we pay at the booth, and they already told us there, like, yeah, we're definitely canceling tomorrow, but we're going to ride today as long as we can, and as long as you feel like you're comfortable out there, and as long as it doesn't get too crazy muddy, and go ahead and try to have some fun. So I was like, all right, well, let's make the best of it. So we get down there, and it's just drizzling, you know, the entire day, and sometimes a little bit heavier rain, but most of the time just enough to keep us constantly wet and just be annoying, you know, the muggy feel. And my buddy Mitch had taken my bike for me in his trailer, and we brought my wife's car, her SUV. And so anyway, the kids were in there, and you know, wanting to get out here and there, but, you know, not liking the rain. But then, of course, the kids, they don't really care at certain points. So, like, screw it, we just want to run around and have fun. And it's funny because I wasn't sure how Jack was going to react, but I already knew that Avery wasn't really into dirt bikes. And so I knew she'd be just kind of like, she would just tolerate it and do what she had to do as a kid, you know, one of those things you're just there, right, you know. So she's, you know, I can tell she's kind of just like, kind of not miserable, but not digging it either. And but Jack was pretty wide-eyed, and I was surprised because before that, he didn't really like the sound of my dirt bike and stuff like that. It kind of scared him and bugged him, and so I wasn't sure how he'd react with a whole bunch of them around him. We had earplugs and ear muffs just in case, and also, you know, when he got close, just to protect his ears. And anyway, that was really the only time he's ever seen me ride. And it was just a practice day, and it was obviously kind of muddy, and so I couldn't do all the jumps or show off, you know. But he got to see me go around, I guess, you know. And but the cool part is I remember when I asked if we could go up onto the Flaggers Tower and get a better view of the track, like you could look down on it. And so for Jack, that was perfect, and Avery, so they could look around. I remember picking him up, and he was looking around, and he kept on repeating himself, saying, "Where's my bike?" But not where's, because, you know, he was 3, so he goes, "Where my bike? Where my bike?" Over and over again. And it was kind of a cool feeling, you know, in a way. I was like, well, maybe he is going to be my riding buddy. And but then I was like, kind of like, oh, fuck, you know, motocross, he's going to get jacked up. No pun intended. But you get messed up. Ask my knee. It's still healing. But yeah, so, you know, we hung out there for a little bit, and they kept riding, but I was like, the kids have had enough at a certain point. I was like, let's just go ahead and go, and thank my buddy for taking my bike there, and I said, thanks again for taking it back, and so on. And we left, you know, went to the Airbnb. And so we went to go just try to spot it out first and find it, because it's kind of this cabin near this river. And so we find it, and the guy's still there, but he only had like another few minutes to finish cleaning up. So we just waited nearby, and we didn't bug him. We just drove to a different road and sat there for a minute and just had the kids have a snack and let them watch YouTube, stuff like that. And it was really fun, you know. And then, you know, the guy left, and second burp, we get to the cabin. Really cool, no TV. You know, you can kind of smell the smell of like fish that had been cooked recently. And it's like an upstairs, downstairs, you know, it's a nice little open loft type cabin deal and vaulted ceilings. It's really nice and quaint. And and a nice little deck out behind it, and just led on these trails towards the river. And anyway, a lot of big leaves and stuff that Avery hadn't seen yet. Leaves that are just huge, like over a foot big in diameter. Anyhow, and so she was like excited, but it was raining, so I was like, well, we'll just, and it's late, so we'll go out tomorrow, check it all out. And so that night, we just kind of set up and played and fed them, and played some games and played with dominoes. And then it was time for dinner time. It wasn't too much later, so because we fed them for the most part before we left, and then a little bit we went to this restaurant, a little Mexican place in this town, and had a good meal there and stuff, and the kids snacked a little bit more, but anyway, Jack was it was cute because he was just like eyeing people in the restaurant and making contact with them. That was kind of his thing. He did that a lot. He would always like look around the room and really make eye contact and make friends with everybody. And it was really cute. As we're leaving, he was saying bye to all his friends, like, waving to them. And he almost went over to give them hugs, because he just loved giving out hugs. And, yeah, so, anyway, I kept it in. See, I didn't cry. Almost. But it hurts. Hurts like a motherfucker. Anyway, so, yeah, after that, we just, did we get ice cream? I can't even remember. I think we did, probably. It's kind of what we do. Something, make it fun. And so we went back to the place and, made up our beds and whatnot. And Jack slept in the pack and play, by us. And up in the loft area, and it had its own balcony deck area too. Sliding glass door was pretty cool. Little view and stuff. Anyway, Avery slept in the other room right nearby, maybe like 20 feet away. And the next day, get up, make breakfast, all that good stuff. And since, the race was canceled, so we already decided, I was like, well, let's just go to the Lloyd Center. And I haven't been there in years, and the kids will dig it, and we'll go to Spencer's. I don't know if you guys have ever been to Spencer's, but it's Spencer Gifts. It's like all those, like, as you can buy on TV type gifts, and just goofy lava lamp, electric lamps type stuff, and, whatever, t-shirts, different shit. So anyway, figured they'd like that place, and we always kind of dug it. It was just kind of silly. You just go in there and look at a bunch of shit. You hardly ever buy anything, but you look at stuff. And the Lloyd Center has an ice skating rink, so I knew the kids would dig that. And so anyway, that's what we did. We packed up, and then on the way, there's this really cool kids play park in Sandy, Oregon, which is where the track is. And it's just like really, it's all wood, and it's like kind of like castle-ish fort type stuff, and just tons of pathways and walking around, and there's a few swings and whatnot too. But really cool. And man, I followed Jack around that thing for a good hour or so. We had so much fun climbing around and just going through the different pathways and everything, and the kids had a blast. And so that was the point of, we made the best of the weekend, and they probably had more fun doing that than probably watching me race anyway. And then so then we packed up and headed the rest of the way to the Lloyd Center in Portland. Went there and hung out and looked at stores and bought a few things. I can't remember what the hell we bought. Just some shit for ourselves, maybe the kids too, obviously, and had a little lunch there, and just hung out. And then after that, just drove home. So that was the weekend. And I was always going to remember it anyway, but I'll definitely always remember it now, And that's what podcast 16 was about. It was about making memories. You know, the idea of, you know, when we look back on things in life, it's because we made a memory. You can remember things because it was significant, because you did something. You didn't just sit on the couch and watch soap operas your whole life and not experience a goddamn thing. Yeah, it's important to experience shit. I'm looking at these pictures on my laptop. These are like Avery, like I said before. I don't know if you listen to the ones when she's like about Jack's age. She was about 3. I remember at that time, we one of our trips to the coast, we used to stay at this condominium all the time in Lincoln City, but it's Old Taft, so right near the Moe's there. And it's a pretty cool little, you know, condo. And it's, you know, by this bay, so it's a little bit safer water and stuff like that for the kids. It's not, you know, super violent waves and stuff. And when the tide goes out, it's almost completely dry, and then tide comes in, it gets a few feet deep, obviously. Anyway, that's where we'd stay for a while. We got hooked on that for a little bit, that place. It worked out for us pretty well. And at that point in time, Avery was into, you know, a lot of different cartoons, but one of them was Jake and the Neverland Pirates. And so that's a cartoon that's a play on Peter Pan. And they always go on these adventures, you know, and Captain Hook's in it still, and Smee, and the alligator TikTok and whatnot. And so anyway, she was into it. And so I had an idea. I mean, I kind of stole the idea somewhat from someone else as far as like the idea of a treasure hunt. But then I was like, oh, I'm going to do, you know, a, you know, pirate treasure hunt style with Jake and everything. So I pinned this letter that was from Peter Pan that said, hey, you know, your buddy Jake's in trouble, and you need to put on this gear. And so we bought all this stuff and put it in a bag. And it was pirate gear, you know, like scarves and bandanas and eye patches and a bag of pixie dust and a few swords and a map, of course, right? And so we got this all set up during her nap. And I set it in the bag, set it on the balcony out there, and then went downstairs, went down to the sand and dug a hole, and just, we, you know, during the day bought a bunch of different shit. And I bought this little chest. It looks like a, you know, treasure chest, a little wood chest, and we put a bunch of different coins in it and just different things, different gems, you know, rocks, and just different shit in there. So anyway, closed it up and buried it. And then Jake and the Neverland Pirates, or not Jake and, the cartoon, there's a part where they tip the shovel and it comes out. So I put the shovel in underneath it. So all you had to do is pretty much just tip the shovel and they pop up. And so anyway, go back upstairs and tell Mindy, okay, I'm all ready. So she's like, okay, I'm going to go down, just make sure no one fucks with it, you know, no other kid goes and grabs the shovel, and it's all cool. Because I made a little X in the whole 9, you know. So go and wake her up, you know, and she, you know, gets in the bag, and you know, I have to read her the letter because she couldn't read then, and tell her about how she's going to go out on this adventure, and she has to put the stuff on. And so she, you know, puts her bandana on, I put mine on, and she wants the sword and wants the boy outfit and makes me the girl, which was fine. I have to wear the pixie dust and whatnot, and it was really cute. And so so we get out the map, and she starts reading it. So we, you know, go out of our condo and go downstairs and walk through the courtyard and the whole 9 and find our way to the beach. And she gets kind of lost. I'm like, well, I think it's maybe over there, you know. And she spots the shovel and just makes a beeline for it, you know. And oh, cool, and just starts digging by hand. I'm like, I think the shovel's there. So she takes it out and starts digging, you know. And instead of just popping it up like the TV show, but hey, you know, best laid intentions, right? So she gets it out, of course, and she's super excited. And it was one of those things, like, I remember that, and just, I was thinking, you know, of course I was going to repeat myself and do that this summer with Jack, but, you know, best laid plans, right? It's not to say that I didn't do things with him. Obviously I did. He was extremely important to me. And not to say that, you know, Avery isn't as well, but she was always been a little bit closer to Mom, and for some reason Jack clung on to me. It was really nice, because I've always struggled with being needed in life, and felt like I wasn't needed a lot. And so he made it really obvious to me all the time that he needed me, because Avery, you know, I know she needs me, but whenever she's hurt, she really, really wants Mom, and I don't really do, you know, like, for her, like, she just doesn't, yeah, and whenever she wants to confide or tell a secret, it's to Mom, or, you know, it hurts, but, you know, I get it. It's maybe because she's a girl, and I don't know. I have no idea. But Jack was, like, you know, really close to me, and always ran up to the door and gave me hugs, and, you know, I'd sit in the window and wave bye and stuff like that, and you know, stuff that would just melt your heart, you know. Always giving hugs to strangers, and was just the sweetest boy. I remember also this other time we were at Cascade Lakes here in town, and he, I don't know, maybe he was like 2, maybe, I don't know if he was even that old, and there were these women at this table behind us, probably a group of 5 of them or so, and, you know, they're just probably in their late 20s or so, and they're all really pretty women, you know, and he knows the difference, he did, and so he kept looking over, you know, looking at them, trying to get their attention, and me and Mindy, of course, noticed that, like, Jack's doing this thing, you know, and he's just flirting away, and until he finally gets their attention, and every time he would look over at him, and they'd look back at him, make eye contact, and he'd just look away like he wasn't looking. He'd look at the corner of his eye. Oh my God, it was so fucking cute. He was quite the flirt. But he was like the sweetest soul, like, I've literally ever met in my life. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I just, I don't know, it's obvious that I miss him dearly. And, yeah, it's like, after I messed up my knee, and then, like, you know, when Avery was sleeping with my fingers and my hands were having problems going numb, and then a few weeks ago, my 2 fingers were really fucking with me and going numb, and so I had to see our friend and masseuse to relieve a pinched nerve, because that's kind of the advice I got, probably what it was, and sure enough, that's what it was, because she was working on the one finger's totally good, and now the other finger just has a little bit of numbness in it. It's almost gone. But we were talking, and she asked me what were my favorite memories or memory of him, and of course it was tough to get out, and I started crying and made her cry, and it was those things, like the hugs, and then I told her that he used to sit on my lap, you know, with his back to my chest, and be laying there, and he'd put his hands in my palms, you know, just like my palms are. He'd cup his hand and put it right inside of mine all the time. And the night, you know, before he passed away, that's how he was sitting with me before he went to bed. And then when I put him to bed, see if I can get to this without crying, y'all. I doubt I can. You know, it's fucking tough. He used to look into my eyes, and I'd just say, okay, good night, buddy, and he'd always grab my hand and pull it to his chest and just hold it there. And just stare at me. Sorry. But what I wouldn't give. Anyway. Yeah. Guess that's about it. Alright, you guys. Done enough crying. How about we play a song that has been really meaning a lot to me more and more. Every time I hear it, it kind of hits me. And it's the beautiful voice of Michaela. And it's Like a Bullet. And so I'm going to play that on the way out. And yeah, I just hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys, you know, show the ones you love that you love them. And yeah, just don't waste any time. Do the best with it. I know it's hard to understand what wasting time is, but I think you kind of know. You know, just spend it wisely. Anyhow, and if you guys, since you guys have a bunch of off time now, the whole fucking, you know, I don't like to mention it, but you know what it is. And but check this show out. If you were into the original Karate Kid, which I am fucking heavily, I love that movie. The first two are pretty good. The third one, but the first one, of course, is everyone's favorite. It's the shit. Well, not everyone. But they have been doing a series. Is on Apple TV. I've been watching it. Fuck, I forget. I think it's Apple. Cobra Kai, and the first season is like I won't ruin it, but it's awesome. I think it is anyway. I mean, you know, it's the quality isn't the highest, but at the same time, it's good enough. It's pretty fucking good, and yeah, it's entertaining. You know. So yeah, if you need something to entertain yourself, it's like $10 a season, $1 a show, or whatever that is. You know, it's nothing. So get yourself entertained for a few hours with the Cobra Kai and Johnny and you know, Daniel. There is no Mr. Miyagi, but anyway. All right, check that out if you guys are bored, and love you all. Hope you have a good evening, good day, good night, whenever you listen to this. And until next time, we'll check it in, and maybe next time I'll be playing more of Sadie's songs. But for this time, we're going to play a commercial.
Yes, it's those closest to us.
Fucking commercial, of course. But we're going to play Like a Bullet by Michaela Hester. What is her? Is it? Yeah. I'm under Michaela Marie. Sorry, excuse me. So here we go. All right, y'all. Till next time.
Don't wanna say anymore those little words. Threw a punch right to my core, watching those tail lights fade into black. I'm broken to pieces, 'cause you ain't ever coming back. My knees hit the ground and I'm barely hanging on. How could soul, your love's a reaper, and I'm dying to let go. My knees hit the ground and I'm barely hanging on. How could something so good go so wrong? You struck me like a bullet, swept the rug out from under my feet. I keep crying and trying and dying inside from the pain you burned in me. Like a bullet, you shot my heart right to its grave. I don't know where to go, I can't take it no more. I'm hanging on with a little faith. You're a bullet. Oh baby, bang bang into my heart. Your love's tore me apart. Baby, bang bang straight through my chest.